Hi, beautiful shining stars, and let me close my door. Very beautiful shining stars. So this is our unblocking ritual, and I wanted to not only give you the audio, which is so powerful, but I recommended that you did the actual written work first and then do the audio. So the whole thing with the audio is that it's gonna take you through different like energy vibrations, right? You're gonna connect with specific angels that showed up as I was creating the unblocking ritual. Truth is, I didn't even know angels were gonna be in the unblocking ritual. When I do those rituals, I never know what's gonna happen. They're not pre-written. They just flow. It's just me and spirit co-creation. It's beautiful. Excuse me, I drink some water. So I wanted to create something that was so powerful yet so attainable, something that anyone could afford, that is having obstacles, that can't manifest, that is just having issues. I wanted them to tap into something that really cleared their path so they could witness what could be. And I want you to be very aware of this. This is why I created a class, because it's not just a one thing, Unblocking is something that we're constantly working on. We're always clearing our paths because we have stories that we tell ourselves, beliefs that have been embedded into our DNA since we were children. And sometimes they're so deep within our chakras and DNA that it's worse when they're like embedded into our DNA, because that means that we were born with it, or that our mother passed it on, or parents, or whatever the scenario. These are ideals, beliefs that have been passed down from generation to generation by the controllers, by the media, by religion, by dogma, just by so many different belief systems. So here you're not doing anything that goes against any of your beliefs. Here you are simply tapping into what could be. So in this printable, I share about it. So I wrote, unblocking ritual to clear the obstacles and manifest your dreams. I want you to think about your life right now. And this is really important because we're always thinking about tomorrow, or we're always fretting or resenting or feeling guilty or worried about yesterday. And what you are going through right now is not about right now. It's about something that happened yesterday, 6 months ago, a year ago, 7 years ago. So it's, I in my classes, I share deep wisdom about the patterns in our lives, how we repeat. One of the things that me and my mom got into a huge debacle about was how, oh my God, because she's very Christian, and then she talks about how Armageddon is coming, or Jesus Christ is about to come down here and just, reap havoc, you know? And I look at her and I said, I could imagine that the monks also said that when the Black Death, or when in the 1920s when we had the Spanish influenza, or in World War II when people had this huge depression and was literally starving to death. So there's like, the world is always going through some upheaval. I don't care what history book you look at, where you go, there's always some darkness going on in this plane. Now I feel, and I don't want to get too like, I'm just kind of giving you the overview, and this is like my beliefs through my studies. I believe that we're here to expand and grow. But I believe that on that journey, through the experiences that we go through, we aren't meant to suffer. We're not meant to live in poverty. We're meant to live in harmony, in balance, in co creation. We're meant to create a village and community and help each other out and love one another. And in the world where we are right now, there's so much discord, and everybody, here we are in a time of technology where you could talk to people. You could be like, I'm in Florida and I could talk to somebody in China or in Egypt. I actually had a conversation with my internet guy, and he happens to be in Egypt. Crazy as that sounds. So it's so easy to tap into other people from all over the world, yet we're so alone. We're so alone. So that causes disharmony. In the 80s, I found that the PTA mothers would always gather around every month. We had a gathering in one of the parents' house, and we get together and we hung out, and it was so much fun. And I'm like, we don't see that now. The kids hang out on their Xboxes live with friends. That's the connection that they have. So I make sure that I go above and beyond to every month, or at least every 2 months, for me and my children and my grandchildren to come together and celebrate and have a good time and eat together and talk and play board games and just really connect at that beautiful level. And it just feels so good if you do things like that. So a lot of the reasons that you're so unblocked is because you're living in this upheaval. You're living in this disharmony. And you're fretting over, I can't pay the bills, or my soulmate doesn't love me, or they left me, or my disease, my ailment, my health. Like, there's so much dis-ease. Exactly what that means. This connection of the ease, of the flow, of the, purity, of the harmony, of the balance. So I ask spirit, and it comes, I'm always talking to spirit. So okay, we do all this manifesting, I light all these candles, I do a lot of rituals for people, and they'll manifest, and then they'll message me, oh, it didn't last. It was fine for a few weeks and even a few months, and sometimes it's great. Sometimes 6 months I don't hear from you, and when I don't hear from you, I know shit's good. Because the only time most of my clients look for me is when the shit has hit the fan, unless they're my on calls, and then we're always working together, right? So I said, how do I create something that they could constantly use and tap into and just clear their own paths? Because then I have people that come to me and they're like, well, you can't help me, and I feel horrible. And I create freebies and this, manifest this, unblock that, and but I don't know if they don't do it or if it's not enough because they have so much like baggage that it's not working at the level that they would like, because maybe they want that $1 million lottery ticket, or maybe they want that $5,000 promotion a month. Whatever it is that you desire, I want you to take this with a grain of salt and listen to your intuition. Because it's not what I tell you. This is all touchy-feely. This is your feelings. Because the point of this unblocking is to take you kind of on a journey into your life and see where these blocks were born. And sometimes you don't remember them. I'll be honest. I had a block that I don't remember, and then I would remember little bits and pieces, and my parents told me that there's no way that I would remember that because I was only 3 years old. How do you remember that if you were only 3 years old? Usually children at that age don't have memory. But I do a lot of meditation and I do a lot of tapping into my subconscious, that I was able to go back to that day and witness everything that happened. And I really freaked my parents out when I gave them the details of not only their arguments, I talked about the car that we were in, and I even shared with them the stop sign that was on the floor. How do you recognize such details about a memory that occurred when you were so young? I'm not going to say that you're going to go into that type because, like I said, I'm a mystic. I've been doing my work since I was very young. So, but if it gets emotional, if it gets uncomfortable, understand that that is part of the process and that you might have to repeat this, because that's another thing that I share. And I talk about it more in our unblocking class. So I feel that once you do this and you are able to go up to the next step and take the unblocking class, I would definitely do that. because that unblocking class is 10 days of you completely shifting your vibration. And 10 days is nothing, it's a little more than a week. It just gives you enough time to really clear some of the baggage, because we're constantly around people, situations, circumstances that are going to try to walk over our minds with their dirty feet. And I love that Gandhi quote. I do not allow anyone to walk across my mind with dirty feet. Gandhi says that. So, today you will take full control of your life and release all those blocks. Each question will take you through a range of vibrations to confront the obstacles, release the block, and then restore your DNA to its most powerful state. Once you do the written part, do the audio ritual. The best times are early morning, noon, and afternoon, or before bed. But you could do the audio ritual whenever you want and whenever you need. Now, first question says, what does your life look like now? How do you feel about your circumstances? So here you are going to tap into your surroundings. And I want you to look at your life like you are standing outside of it, like it's your friend looking at your life. And if you have to call a friend and say, hey, what does my life look like to you? Be honest. If you could take, because some people are too sensitive and they can't handle concrete criticism, then if not, try to do the best that you can. But you want not to sugarcoat things. You want to see the reality of what it is. You want to realize what is actually occurring in your life. Not just the complaining, because we could all sit around and complain. We could do a bonfire of just bullshit complaining all fucking night for hours. That's not what we're doing. We are seeing our life for what it is. And I'm going to express to you why they're so adamant for you to really look deep into your life. A couple of weeks ago, I had a situation where there was a bill that came in that I almost had to tap into my savings and stuff. And I'm very I don't want to touch that money because I worked so hard to put that away. And I'm working on building my I call it my well of funds, where I use for my everyday, for my bills, just in case I want to take a month off. I have a number that I have, and I know that if I need to tap into that, I could go into that well and I could use that money for that. And I try to, of course, put it away. But life has its own circumstances and experiences, and patterns will arise. These patterns arise. This is what I'm talking about here. And again, I can't teach you all this in one video because there's so much wisdom, so much to explain. Anywho, I want you to think about your life today and maybe your life 7 years ago or even 10 years ago, and see what recognitions, what patterns, what similarities do you recognize? What happened 7 to 10 years ago that might be occurring again right now? Where were you at that time? What are the differences? Because you will notice that our life repeats. It's almost like a circle. You have the years that you do very good, fruition, money comes in. It's almost like you have luck. And a lot of us, instead of being smart and invest and open up our businesses, we tend to think that that's never going to end, and we use that money and we spend it all, and then we go back to one. I did that a couple of times, and I taught my children how not to do that, how to recognize the fruition, how to recognize when you have those extra streams of income, how to invest them wisely, how to start businesses, how to have multiple streams of income. If you can see, I talk a lot, so I teach and I share all this wisdom and knowledge and experiences with my children and my grandchildren, because they're not going to learn this in school. No school teaches this. So look at your life and be honest and share exactly what you see. And why I'm sharing this is, so as I was explaining, I couldn't pay for a bill, and I fretted. I was like, I can't believe it. I'm gonna have to tap into that, and then I'm gonna lose money because they're gonna give me less money. Because when you cash out, they give you less than what it's worth, right? That works. So I was just bananas. And then I stopped. I stopped and I said, no, wait, let's meditate. I said, something's off. I'm out of the vortex, like Esther Hicks. So I'm not synchronized. I'm out of the vortex. Something is not in alignment here. And this is why this is very powerful. So I go back and I do my own meditation. This wasn't born yet. And within, because I go into meditation to such a level that I do not get out until I feel something, until something clicks. Into either my phone rings and somebody's helping me, or I'm getting the money that I need. I am there until I don't play. So within that time frame, the spirit takes me on a journey and shares with me my life. As they share with me the beauty of my life. They share with me all the success. They share with me all the things that I have manifested. They share with me my home, my car, my health, the time that I spend with my children, how great my husband is right now. Like, we're in such a great relationship. We're working together. Everything is like harmonious. So I was like, I almost like threw it all the way for something as petty as a fucking bill. When we realize, and you're probably like, oh, because no, because bills, we have to pay our bills, because if not, I'm like, yeah, you have to pay your bills, but we cannot allow it get to a place where we are dying because of a bill. And we get into that later. So I sit down and I start writing the block, right? Which is what I'm teaching you right here. I start writing. I felt like this because this bill arose and it made me feel very yucky and full of fear because, how was I gonna be able to pay for that? The money wasn't coming in. Everything felt like it was very stuck. My sales were down. Some of my uncles have already moved on. I mean, they're doing great. Blessings to them. But then I always have this thing, like, new ones come in and it didn't come in. It gets even worse. My Kickstarter was at 1,000 and went back all the way down to almost 600. And that really like blew me away. So it was like a lot of little things that were happening. And I was like, something is wrong. I'm out of the vortex. So I'm sharing all this. I'm writing all this. I'm writing all this. I'm writing all this. And then we go and I'll share with you what's next. So here I go. Where did this issue start and at what age? So you want to go back to when you feel that these issues started. And it says, think back to when you had these same issues as far as you can go. What occurred, when, and why? So I went all the way back to when I was 8 years old. And I remember my mom drowning because she couldn't pay the lights. And they were cutting the lights. And they cut the lights. And then our neighbor had to come over and help us put all the things. Back then it was simpler. People were nicer to each other. And my neighbor came over and she's like, don't worry, my mom is sobbing. And, I'm seeing all of this. I did see the positivity of people helping people. And I feel like this is why I'm so helpful and loving, because I recognize that from way back when. And, she took all the stuff that could get really bad, like the frozen stuff, and she put it in the bags and she put it in she had a freezer, which was very rare back then, but she had a freezer. So, and then my dad came home and him and my mom started arguing about what are you doing with the money. So it was a lot of, dis-ease over the fucking light. And thinking back in the 1800s, people didn't have light. Was it the 1800s? I think it was the 1800s. So looking at all that, and all of a sudden, the same day, my aunt comes over and said to my mom, please, why didn't you call me? We could have figured this out. They wouldn't even cut it. I would have paid for it. But my mom was like, I didn't want to bother you, because my mom was very dramatic. So that same day, the light man comes right back and turns on the light. So all of that chaos lasted for a good 3 or 4 hours from the moment that My mom was freaking out because they were going to cut the light, to the moment they cut the light, to the moment, all the way to the moment my aunt came back and paid for the light. So I was almost in that same vibration, that fretting, that, oh my God, how am I going to pay for this bill? And I'm going to go to tap, the pride of having to go tap in, like my mom not asking my aunt. You have to look at your life through all of its angles and seek all the solutions. Like now, if I need to ask my son, or my husband has to ask somebody because we're short here or there, we ask, because we know that next week or the week after that we can pay him right back. Not a problem. But why do we put ourselves in those situations? Why do we allow the moment to deteriorate us to the point of exhaustion, of sadness, of melting into its core? And it's not until you go into these states that you realize what you're going through. So, this is why it's really important, because you're shedding everything as you write out everything you feel, that you see, that you witness. Then I write, today you have control of your life. Then we go, this is when the magic happens. This is when you dismantle that block. When that block melts like ice cream on the hot summer June day. Today you have control of your life. Today you can change everything. You have the power to change your life right now. What does this look like? What are you doing? If you can change, I'm sorry, I gotta fix that. If you can change your life today, share your story below what that life would look like. So now, and the reason why I made this is I wanted to really break this all down for you in a way that you could grasp all this. Today you're taking back control of your life. What I do is I will say, today, June 5th of 2023, I take back full control of my life. Today, I am no longer imprisoned by the bills that show up in my life. Today, I have more than enough money to take care of those bills, but to fill up my well and put away money every single month. Today, I am full control. I have the power, the wisdom, the knowledge that I am perfection, that I have been created in the divine's image, and that no one or nothing or any situation can sabotage that vibration, because I am in alignment and I have the power. No longer does that bill situation have me. No longer does it hold me. No longer from this point in time, in any point of reality, quantum space and time, is this real. I dismantle it today. Today I take back control. Today I have the power. Today my sales have risen. Today I am full of health and vitality, and I could take this and so much more head on, because I am taken care of. I am favored. I am the luckiest woman in the world. Everything is working for me. Everything is happening for me. And everything that I desire is already been promised to me. It's already part of who I am. And I deserve it, and therefore it is already mine. Do you see how I go into that? Do you see the power, the oomph coming from inside of me, sharing, dismantling that energy, that bill, that pesky piece of paper that showed up, trying to take control over me, trying to break me down. This is the magic, my friends. This is when the shit really gets moving. I have done this work right here. And while in that vibration, because I go almost into an auto-written freestyle trance, and that's where you want to go. You want to feel that power, that vibration, that I have the power. And if you want to put the song on, I have the power. Put it on. Feel that energy. Feel that click, that vibration, that umph that you do have the power and control over your life, your journey, and your destiny. That's why we have free will. That's our gift, to control our life, to control our destiny. I have had such epiphanies, such manifestations while doing this work. I have been sitting doing this work, and while doing this work, I've gotten $1,000 sale. I've gotten an email that somebody wants to work with me. I've gotten a phone call, a text. It is crazy, 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 crazy. It's almost like instant manifestation. But of course, because people are like, oh, you said it's going to happen right away. When is it going to manifest? It didn't manifest for me. Well, because you didn't put enough energy into it. I guarantee that if you sit down and you do the work, and you do this over and over because you want to take back control of your life, not because you want to text me or email me 5 minutes later, a week later, be like, it didn't work. How many times you do it? Oh, I did it one time. Well, then you don't care. You don't care about taking back control. You don't care about unblocking your life. Because let me tell you that if you have residue since you were born, that is going to keep coming up and keep coming up. And it's going to take more than one time. One listen to the audio. It's going to take multiple times. And that's why I created the 10 days, to really get that vibration flowing. So if you're in quicksand right now and you're melting, you need to dedicate your time to this power. You need to shift the energy to manifest. This says, today you start a new life, your new journey. Below, declare with a statement and sign it afterwards. I recommend that you do this part after the audio ritual, because it's almost like adding more mojo to what you already did. Because this is the most powerful part. This is adding more mojo. Because the audio ritual is going to really go deep within you. Like, you're gonna feel, there's gonna be moments that you're gonna feel uncomfortable. There's gonna be moments that you might get emotional. You're gonna see things, feel things, smell things, hear things. Allow. I feel like that is why the angels entered the vibration. And let me tell you, this ritual is really gonna blow you away. I am, like I said, this stuff's crazy to me. Crazy to me. All right. I hope to see you in the class. I hope to hear great stories of manifestations, of instant gratification, of accessing that divine power that has been embedded into you, that has been given to you since you were born. Namaste.